Hello everyone, it's so good to be here again. In my previous video, I did tease that I had a bit of a Japanese-themed cinema weekend. That started with The Boy and the Heron, Hayao Miyazaki's latest film, but it ended with Godzilla -1. Honestly, going to this film, I had no real expectations or any real knowledge of what the film was. I knew there was a Japanese film and that was kind of making waves, no pun intended, in a very word-of-mouth way, so I was curious to jump on the bandwagon. And I thought, you know what, Godzilla always has been fun. I didn't watch all the previous ones, but I've seen a fair share of them, and I guess my impression was this very Hollywood take on this monster. But man, was I in for a surprise. This film went hard. Oh my god. Yikes. From the first moment we meet Godzilla, his presence is absolutely crushing. This is a very rated R and grim film. This isn't the Godzilla that befriends humanity and helps find giant alien whatever things that are happening. This is a Godzilla that is absolutely jaw-droppingly terrifying to humanity. It will just destroy everything in its path. And I'm really blown away by the dramatic elements of this film. Godzilla makes a perfect metaphor for a post-World War II Japan, where honestly the early moments of the film where you see a completely ravaged and destroyed Japan, it really did pull on the heartstrings in ways that I did not expect. And coincidentally, it is curious how this post-World War II element both mirrors itself in not only this film, Godzilla -1, but also in The Boy and the Heron. That was a rough time in history, and it really does translate in a very powerful way in this film. And on top of that incredibly grim and the oppressing, once again, crushing setting, there really is an interesting beating, dramatic, and this familial brotherhood bond that is forged into this film. There's this really interesting motley crew cast of fellow people who are helping each other out in this crisis, and it is a major crisis. There's some images that are just burned into my mind of soldiers who are duty-bound to stand up and protect their country, but when it actually comes up to taking on Godzilla and realizing just how futile and daunting of a task that is, it was devastating. And on top of that, I really enjoyed this makeshift family that was created in this chaotic and painful setting. I don't want to go into too much detail, of course, but once again, I'm really surprised at how much it was pulling on the heartstrings. But before wrapping up, I really want to talk about visually how this film was realized, and I'm kind of floored. The immersion is complete. Godzilla, once again, is just gargantuan and terrifying, and in some ways, I do find him a bit uncanny. He's huge and slow and has a really derpy look on his face, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, never for a moment did I felt that he wasn't properly integrated into the world when he was stomping through the cities of Japan and people were just running away in terror. And this is even more impressive when you consider that this is actually a super low budget film. Reportedly, the budget was $15 million. So even before knowing that information, I was already super impressed. But now considering that, wow, this film is grim, terrifying, and absolutely devastating, but it's an absolute banger. Wow. Yeah, this really far exceeded my expectations. This is an easy 8.5 out of 10 for me. I think maybe the part that surprised me the most about this film is the dramatic quality, and once again, this using Godzilla as this metaphor of post-World War II Japan. That was surprisingly amazing. The hype behind the word of mouth is real, and here's another reminder for you guys to go check it out because this is actually way cool, and there don't seem to be many cinemas in Montreal playing it. As far as I can tell right now, there are only 2 cinemas. Before last week, there was only 1 theater, so hopefully word of mouth spreads and it does gain more traction because it's actually low-key one of the best films of the year. Whoa. Alright, with all that being said, I'm gonna take it easy now, getting ready for another big week of work. So with all this being said, wishing you and your loved ones nothing but the best. Take care and talk to you as soon as I can.